Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Arthritis Action webinar, Movement Snacks, Small Moves, Big Benefits. My name's Mark. I'm the Services Manager for Arthritis Action and will be performing the moderating duties today. Before we get underway, I have a few housekeeping items. So just to let you know, you'll be muted throughout the webinar. So if you have any questions for Martin, please type them in the Q&A box. And we'll endeavour to answer as many of these as possible during the time allotted. But in the event we run out of time, we'll get back to you by email within a few days. So just bear with us on those ones. And finally, to remind you that this webinar is not a substitute for medical advice. So always consult your doctor or medical professional for any questions regarding your own medical conditions. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our speaker. So Martin Lau is the Services Development Manager and Dietitian at Arthritis Action. He was a senior dietitian at the NHS prior to joining Arthritis Action 10 years ago. Martin runs the Arthritis Action dietetic clinics in London and online. He's also currently facilitating our Home Strength online exercise program for members. And as we're about to learn a bit more about very soon, our new Movement Snacks program. So, hello, Martin. Thank you for coming today.
Hello, Mark. Thank you so much for inviting me to join the webinar again.
Well, more times the merrier as far as I'm concerned, Martin. More times the merrier. Yeah. So, I've already given you my the intro for all of that. So I'm going to hand it over to you if that's all right.
Thank you. Right. Okay. So, okay. Right. Well, once again, thank you, Mark, for inviting me to speak at the Arthritis Action webinar. But I think more importantly, thank you to those who tuned in on this lovely, glorious, I think, Thursday afternoon. So I hope that you're going to, find the webinar useful. Now, today, we're going to be looking at what exactly is movement snacks. No doubt that you have probably seen, from the Arthritis Action campaign that we have been, advertising, to members and also non-members. And when you sort of open that email, you may start wondering, what kind of snacks are they talking about? So I think it would be a really good platform, from me to start talking about what they are and, more importantly, how they can be of benefit to you. Before we start, I would like to share this statement with you. And in fact, I think this is one of the most powerful statements that I've ever seen for a while. For those that who don't know who Professor Ruse is, she is I would say that she's one of the pioneer of the management of osteoarthritis. By profession, she is a physiotherapist. She's over in Denmark. And as you can see, there's a funny little sort of word GLAD behind her name. This actually stands for Good Life with Osteoarthritis Denmark. It is an exercise program for six, sometimes you can do it for 8 weeks. And it is quite a comprehensive program which are designed to support people living with osteoarthritis of the knee and hips. Now, this program has been adapted in several countries like Australia and Ireland, but in the United Kingdom, we have got something called Escape Pain, which is a little bit, similar to how they, offer the exercise therapy for people with arthritis. So, moving is osteoarthritis medicine, but I do understand that at times where you are in a little bit of discomfort or in pain, moving is the last thing on your mind that want to do. But I think more importantly, we now need to understand that, rather than keeping the joint dormant, we have to, move, because ultimately, motion is lotion. Sorry about the cliche. Now, I know that a lot of you are muted and I can't see you, but you don't worry about, unmuting yourself or, start showing, a raised hand, because I would just wanted to, ask a quick question where, do you know what the biggest barrier to exercise is? And most of you will probably, turn around and say that maybe the cost of a gymnasium or a leisure center. But, if I look into some of the surveys, especially like from YouGov, one of the biggest barrier is actually the lack of time. So if I can tell you or offer you a regime where you will be able to move your muscles without spending a lot of time on an exercise program. And I think that will go down quite nicely, don't you think? So, about the agenda for the webinar today, I will explain what exactly is movement snacks. And I'm also going to be sharing with you some of the evidence from scientific literatures, and then how and when that we can use these snacks, and finally a practical session. So um, I would be grateful, and if you are, in a in a suitable clothing, that you can, join us. Certainly, join me. Be able to do some moving. But if you feel that this is not something that you would like to do on a Thursday at lunchtime, by all means, sit back and watch. And more importantly, some of these little moving strategies or the snacks are available if you signed up on our movement, our movement snack regime. So, what exactly are movement snacks? So, by definition, they are short bursts of movement that can be performed at any point of the day. So even you are sitting watching this webinar, you can, start moving your body about, providing that I'm not actually boring you too much. So, to give you a quick example, you can, start doing a little bit of squatting when you are waiting for the kettle to be boiled, or other things that you can, you can stand on one leg while you are brushing your teeth. That is another, useful strategy that you can employ. But overall, it does help to improve mobility as well as addressing some of the musculoskeletal issues. So why do we love movement snacks so much? Now, movement snacks is not a new thing. It has been used by physiotherapists for a little while. But because this is not often being employed, by patients, and and when you go and see the physio, they just sort of like turn around and say, look, you need to sort of like do 3 sets of 10, of a particular exercise. But at times where we do find it difficult to to start getting sort of, or ring fence 30 to 45 minutes just to do the exercise, sometimes it may feel a little bit of a tall task. So in incoming this movement snack, so what we can do with them is we can make it quite fun. And by moving your body, it will also make us feel good as well. Now, because they are bite size, it can fit into your busy schedule. So if you're sitting behind the desk, or even working at shop floor, the beauty is you can also get your co-workers to join in as well. Now, a lot of you will know, and certainly some of you may have signed up for the home strengthening class. We do talk a lot about the set and reps, which means that they are the volume and the intensity of resistance training, or body weight training. But with movement snacks, you don't have to worry about that at all. Okay, and I will explain the reason why as the presentation progresses. And we'll also, be able to re-establish that mind and muscle link, because the actual movement itself is going to be a lot more controlled, rather than you're rushing just to meet the amount of repetitions or the sets that you have to do. Now, how we're going to make them fun is to make them enjoyable, because they are really short. And and I think you can, once you understand a little bit of the rationale behind it, you are going to be able to incorporate it with your everyday occurrences. So, for example, like I mentioned earlier, you can do squats, waiting for the kettle to boil, or even you can stand on one leg while washing up. So the opportunities or the combinations are actually endless. But the key thing is just make them as enjoyable as possible, because once you know that this is something that you can do, and it is quite a fun little regime that you can start following, the likelihood that you are going to follow it and it will become part of your habit. Now, key thing is recognizing that it is a snack, so you've got to keep them nice and short. So the whole sort of the regime can be just around 5 to 10 minutes, and in fact, in 5 to 10 minutes, you can work your whole body. But if you would like to focus on certain body parts per day, then you can also do that as well. So, like I said, make them enjoyable. Make it fun. The aim for using movement snacks is the ability for you to have a few snacks throughout the day. So you could, in effect, well, you can sort of like look at it as, right, okay, I am going to, do my balance, and I'm also going to work on my core on the same day. So which means that in the morning, you can do a little bit of your balance, and and in the afternoon, or before you go home, then you can work a little bit on your core. So again, the combination, they're endless. The key thing is how you're going to fit into your day will be entirely up to you. Now, I am going to share a little bit of evidence in relation to movement snacks with you. So I just want to make sure that you don't feel that, oh, this is something that I pluck in the air and just to, get you to and get you to start moving without any evidence. Now, I mean, this is a quite a recent paper, which actually looking at the population of people with knee osteoarthritis, and what they are actually doing is each of the movement snacks they spend about a minute to do, and from the conclusion, they actually find that with the exercise snacking now, even though exercise snacking and movement snack are not kind of the same, but a lot of the times they will sort of use interchangeably in research. And they compared aerobic exercises with how the movement snacking can help with people with knee osteoarthritis. They do find that it does help to improve fatigue and also pain. And I know that pain is almost one of the main things that can cause a lot of issues for people living with OA. So as you can see from this recent paper, absolutely, something that for you to experiment on. And the second study, again, looking at exercise snacking. And this time round, the regime is actually using a 2-minute exercise snacking, for people. And they actually found that it can help to promote the muscle strength, and then more importantly, it's also reduced the frailty for older patients. And I love the word activity. This is something that you can also employ if you wanted to use this movement snack, because ultimately, the more physical activity, the more movement that you can do. Even though it is only small amount throughout the day, or even so like once or twice each day, it is still going to convert to beneficial effect, especially if you are living with joint pain. Now, when and how to use the movement snacks. So when really is whenever that you feel that you need a physical activity boost. So if you are, after a laborious meeting, or if you feel that you're asleep behind the desk, you just need the extra oomph. Yes, you can, you can start using some of these, movement snacks to help you to keep yourself moving throughout the day. Like I have alluded to before, once or even more times daily. But if you feel that, yes, I want to just focusing on just, doing twice per day, you can certainly do that as well. And again, you can do that on a daily basis, or you can do that every other day. So the combination is endless, and whatever that is going to whatever's going to fit your needs. Now, it's got to be goal specific. So if you feel that, right, I'm going to work on my lower body, you can just concentrate on your lower body. Now, AMRAP is an exercise term. It means that as many reps or rounds as possible. So you can sort of like set the timer up for 1 minute, and you can just do, as many reps, as many times that you can do on a particular movement. Or you can just turn around and say, okay, I'm just going to, focusing on my balance. And then you have, look at our movement snacks, balance exercises. There are 4 exercises for each of the body parts, or for each category. And then so you can just see, set the timer up. Right, I'm going to set it up for 2 minutes. I'm going to see how many, rounds that I can just do as a mini little circuit, for your balance regime. So these are the things that you can employ when you dive into the movement snacking. Little and often, you can certainly use that. And then in particular, at times where, you feel that day that your pain is not agreeing with you, and your pain sensitivity is registered around about, 8 or 9 on that day. Now, for a lot of you, you may have an exercise regime in your back pocket, but on days like that, it will be really useful for you to tap into the movement snack. So the movement snacks will become part of the tools in your toolbox. And some of you have heard about the rule of 10. What it actually means is, if your pain level is particularly high, your rate of perceived exertion from any exercises will become less. So if I can use the example of pain scale registered at 8, then which means that your exercise is going to scale right back, and this will be a time and for you to start using movement snack as part of your strategy to help to move your body. And the grand scheme of thing is, the more that you move your body, the better that your brain start thinking that, right, it's a safe movement, and I don't need to start throwing all my toys out of the pram. So it will be a really useful strategy for you to employ. And then if you are not familiar with this rule of 10, and I do feel that it is important for you to start thinking about using that. So, I come to the point where I'm going to, do the practical session with you. So, if and when you're ready, I am going to demonstrate an exercise for 4 categories, and these 4 categories are balance, and then with lower body, upper body, and finally core. A lot of these movement snacks type exercises, you can do it while sitting down on a chair. But in terms of the balance exercise, ideally, it will be useful for you to stand up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing the slides, and I'm going to take myself off blur. Okay, so the first exercise that we're going to do is a balance exercise. Now, even though that my camera may not show, okay, so your first snack will be standing on one leg, okay? So a lot of you can find this extremely easy to do, especially with the help of the back of the chair. But if you do feel that this is getting quite easy for you to do, I would challenge you to remove your hand and stand with just one leg. Now, as I mentioned about the regimes, I mean, you can literally, do this, while you're brushing your teeth, or you set the timer up and say that, look, I'm going to stand on one leg with minimal support for about a minute. And if 1 minute becoming quite easy to do, then you can progress your exercise into, increasing the time, or even you can add a little bit more difficulty to standing on one leg. So, for example, you can stand on one leg and then you can do some gentle rotations. Okay, those are the things that you can incorporate into your regime. Now, the second exercise, which will belong to the lower body category, is sit to stand. Now, a lot of you will find this, quite easy to do. And in fact, if you are, working in an office or working, behind a desk, you're always going to be sitting down on a chair. Now, sit to stand is extremely easy to perform. So all you need to do, you can either stick your arms out like a zombie, or you can cross your arms in front of your chest. All you can do is to just stand up without pushing your hands down to get your body to stand up. I'll repeat that one. Okay, just simply stand up. Now, for those of you that who are dealing with painful knees, what you can also do to help this movement a little bit easier is to put cushions onto the chair, so that you will literally be you're sitting up a lot higher, and then you can stand up with ease. Now, As time progresses, how you can make this exercise a little bit more challenging is to remove one cushion at a time, so that you will be able to have your legs in a 90 degrees angle. That will be the lower body exercise. And in terms of looking at upper body, there are quite a few of them, but I do like this a lot, namely because it does help, to get your shoulder blades a little bit more responsive. And again, at times where, you have been, hunching down, whether you started to do the gardening, and then you start feeling that your upper back is a little bit achy. This particular snack can be helpful to you. Now, with this snack, simply you're sitting down on a chair, and then all you have to do is to squeeze your shoulder blades together and then relax. Squeeze the shoulder blades and then relax. It does help with it does help to get your middle back a little bit more stronger, and because your shoulder blades sit on top of your rib cage, and for a lot of times, if you have been stretching that, this will be a good time for you to shortening some of the muscles, on your back. So the muscles, they responsible for stretching and shortening. And so, by getting your muscles to start shortening a little bit more often than it should, it will help that integrity of how your back is going to work. And for the core, what you can do for this, it is, again, extremely simple. By sitting on the chair, all you needed to do is to just trying to bring your fingers, or or get your fingers to touch the lowest point of your chair. So in some ways you are swaying, but a lot of people will just do that because they wanted, a much better range. All I need you to do is forget about, how good that range is, but it is important for you to feel that you are moving, or you are swaying your midriff, so that it will help to restore a little bit more of the mobility. Now, you can sort of like do this, or you can just focusing on one side of the body. Again, you can employ things like AMRAP, so as many reps as possible. But when you do this exercise, a word of caution will be, because some of you may have lower back issue, so do not try to make this as fast as possible. I would highly encourage you to make this movement slow and controlled, so that you can feel how your muscles are actually contracting. And that will be something that I definitely want you to, to remember. And as far as trying to get a little bit more ideas on the exercises that I've just talked about, you can go on to our website, because we have got a page dedicated for movement snacks. So I guess that the next thing for this webinar will be if you have any questions for me regarding movement snacks. Thank you, Mark, for putting that link on the chat box.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for the demonstration. That was really good. So we do have a couple of questions. Someone sent one in earlier. So actually, for everyone who maybe didn't hear at the beginning, if you would like to ask a question, there's a Q&A box down at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to type anything there. I can read it out, and then Martin can answer it for you. We did have one via email, so let's go do that one first. So it was frequently while shopping, I have to lean on the shopping trolley. I feel that taking long strides may be beneficial. Is this correct? Due to spinal problems, I'm unable to stand up straight and the trolley supports me quite a lot.
Right. I think that would be, a well, an issue where you will need to look at a more substantial exercise program, guided by physiotherapists in order to help with that. Because if you are leaning a lot of the times into the shopping trolley and you have to take longer stride, it tells me immediately that your back and also your buttocks really not supporting you at all. So I do feel that this, well, with this instance, you will need to start looking at a more comprehensive exercise regime, and then you can take some of those little exercises as part of your snacks throughout the day.
Excellent stuff. Okay, so now we've got a few questions in the chat here, so all snack related, which is lovely.
Yay!
Okay, so can exercise improve OA, slow down progression, or does it provide symptom relief?
I think it's definitely I can only hear slow down the progression and symptom relief, and I do believe there's a third one. What's the third?
Can it improve OA, slow down progression, or does it just provide symptoms?
The answer is yes to all three. We have got good evidence, looking at how strengthening the muscles, tendons, and ligaments can help with halting the progression of OA. And I think more importantly, the key evidence looking at how it can support people living with osteoarthritis is exercises do help to promote repair. Even though the definition for osteoarthritis is rare, and a lot of the times, healthcare professionals or medical professionals have been using this archaic term wear and tear. Now, we understand that the tear part is there to scare people, but in fact, how you are moving your joint can actually promote the repair. Now, for the last part, when you are doing something new, and especially, I'll just take knee as an example. If you decided if you have got knee OA and you have got limited range of movement, and all of a sudden, after hearing this Martin from Arthritis Action saying that sit to stand is a jolly good idea, and then when you start doing it and you turn around and go, oh, ouchie, oh, he is talking a load of nonsense. This is because your body is not used to the range that your knee is operating. And we've always got to understand that, pain, persistent pain is something that it is a part of the process of how our body is trying to protect us. And because your body recognizes that this is something that, kind of like not cool to do, and your body will turn around and say, look, this is not a great movement, back off. But the more times that you are doing this and you are also modifying, for example, with a sit to stand, that's why I encourage people to, put, lots of cushions on the chair first so that your knee is not actually hitting the 90 degrees angle. You might be hitting 120 degrees, but the more that your knees start moving, not only it will send chemical signals back to the joint complex and saying that, look, you've got to start repairing yourself here because it is actually working. It is not rusty at all. And in time, I know that this is not a quick fix, and a lot of us do want something quick to get the pain away. But in time, our nervous system recognizes that this is something that is actually okay to do, and then the message will translate to the brain and say, this is actually okay. So, the more times that you're going to, move that joint, the more that you are going to help to control your symptoms. And that is why Professor Roos turned around and say that, movement is osteoarthritis medicine. Sorry, it is a bit of a long-winded answer to this.
That's all right. Or think of it as a detailed answer, Martin, rather than a long-winded one. Let's go for that. But they've been flying in during your detailed answer. So we've got loads more questions to go through. So a lot of focus seems to be on hip and knee osteoarthritis. But what about spinal osteoarthritis? Is movement snacking good for this?
Yes, movement snacking is absolutely fine with the spinal issues. The best thing to do is to always check with your physiotherapist or healthcare professional, because with spinal issues there are so many different subtype. So rather than going in blind, make sure you know what you are dealing with first. Now, that demonstration I did earlier will be particularly useful for people with, spinal OA, because you are actually helping to support or, encourage the movement of the muscles, protecting your spine to move. So that is something that, absolutely fine to do. And, we have got the movement snack level 1 add-on. One of the particular exercise is called the back extension on a chair. So you are sitting upright. Maybe I'm just going to take off blur so you can see. So this is the back of my chair, but I'm sitting, my bum is almost to the edge of the chair. All you have to do in a controlled manner, just lean back and then bring back up again. So these are the strategy that you can employ if you have got spinal issues, and the snacks is definitely fine for you to do. But like I said, make sure you check with your physiotherapist first.
Lovely stuff. Thank you. Next one. Any snacks suitable for hand arthritis?
Yes, there is. So with the hand snacks, I'm going to take off my blur. One of the things that I'll do, but for those who have been, participating in my home strengthening class, they will know this quite well. This is simply just called a waterfall. Just imagine the water coming down the mountains. So you are wiggling your fingers. You're also rotating your thumbs, and then you're just pretending it's the water falling down. So that will be a good movement snack for you. The other one will be the air piano. Your inner Elton John likely going to come out when you're doing that. So yes, that will be another, hands movement snack for you.
Excellent. Those are great. So next one is, thank you so much, Martin. I signed up for the Movement Snacks email, and it really helps to remind me to do some sort of movement. It's great to incorporate 5 to 10 minutes a few times a day.
Fantastic. Great to hear that.
Lovely. So what's the best thing for a very stiff low back first thing in the morning? Sometimes it's difficult to get out of bed, even after doing some stretches.
Really difficult to answer that, because I don't know your situation, and I also don't know about whether there are any sort of physiotherapy input. So I would be a little bit hastened to sort of answer this or give you, an example to do. Maybe you can chat to your physio regarding that, because movement snacks came from physiotherapy. So when you speak to them about movement snack, almost as that you're speaking, to them, in their own language. So no doubt that they will give you something, because, with spine, I'm always a little bit more cautious. So I do apologize. I won't give you, a clear guidance during this webinar, just because that I don't know your situation.
Okay, great, thank you. So sit to stand. Does it make any difference whether my feet are parallel or toes pointing slightly outwards?
No difference at all. Now, with somebody who has got limited a hip rotation, having the toes sort of slightly pointing out will help you to get a little bit lower. So, which means that you will be able to hit that 90-degree range, which normally where the seats, that the height of the seat will help you to meet that range. So they're really doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's just down to where or how you are being built and how tight your hips are.
Excellent. Does this apply to other types of arthritis, such as rheumatoid? Yes, in reference.
Rheumatoid, absolutely important to get your joints moving as well. And then we know that with inflammatory arthritis, people tend not to do any exercises. But now we have got pretty good confidence, from the research that even you are dealing or living with inflammatory arthritis, getting your muscles stronger is going to be paramount. So movement snacks also work well with people with rheumatoid arthritis. In fact, it is suitable for all musculoskeletal issues.
Okay, so I've got a couple more and then we'll call it a day for today. So this one might be a little tricky for you in your camera, but we'll give it a go anyway, Martin. Any good exercises for ankle arthritis? Would make it hard for you,
yes.
at least.
Yes, there is. Okay, so I'm going to take off my blur and I'm just going to do this. Okay, so you have got two options. In fact, there are quite a lot of different options for you to do. First of all, you can do toe taps. Right. Oh, just going to bring that out of it. So toe taps. Okay, just imagine you are pressing on the accelerator in your car, and this one for the clutch. Okay, toe taps will be, one of the good things that you can try. The other one will be ankle rotation, just simply by rotating your ankle will help. Hey, give it a try and let me know how you get on.
Excellent. Okay, a couple more. So this one's just a thank you. So thanks so much for the tips, including using extra pillows for sit to stand and twisting while I stand on one leg. I do both of these exercises. So that's excellent to hear.
Fantastic. Maybe you can add a little bit more difficulties to the snacks that you're currently doing, because with any exercises, the beauty is you can regress and you can also progress. So with the chair, if you find it really comfortable with the existing chair that you can do sit to stand on, maybe find yourself a lower chair, because that will also give you a little bit of challenge in relation to that. And like I said about standing on one leg, add a little bit of body rotation, because it will spice that balance exercise up somewhat.
Okay, great. So actually, we've got two more. These will be the final two, and then that will be it. So my friend has gifted me with a running machine. I can't run, but I'm starting to use it as a walking machine. Would it be better to walk at a regular, gentle pace for longer, or switch it up and do a varied program? I have Haglund's deformity on my right foot, by the way, so my balance is awful.
I mean, walking or even walking on a treadmill is a good physical activity that you can engage in. I mean, I don't know your treadmill has got sort of handlebars on each side. Given what's going on with your with your leg, straight away I can just sense that there will be some sort of an auto gate for you. And then if you could sort of like hold on to the side, if you have got that side handlebar,
It has what it has got one according to the chat.
it has going to then make use of that. And in fact, every sort of fourth week, you can give yourself a little challenge by increasing the intensity. So, which means that if you're normally going for a gentle pace walk, maybe you can challenge yourself with a little more faster pace, but that pace kind of like you should be able to still hold a conversation with that brisk walk. And then if you feel a little bit more of a challenge, maybe slowly progress into jogging. But again, I wouldn't sort of like, run before you can walk, pardon the pun. But the key thing is, start getting that gait, the walking gait, into a more sort of, a more better suited for you, and then progress from there.
Great, thank you. And the final question now. So, when I drop something on the floor or need to look at someone lower down, I can't bend over due to chronic pain, so I squat down. Problem is, I can't get up easily again. Any tips?
Sit to stand will be something that you will find it really useful. And again, there is because if you do find that if you're sat down, you find it very difficult to stand up. You can use that recommendation of putting more cushions onto the chair. You can just slowly building up to support you. Alternatively, you can just regress this regime into doing something called the wall sit. Again, we have got a nice video once you have signed up to the movement snacks. And to be honest, wall sit is a pretty common sort of isometric exercise that you can employ. So, simply go onto YouTube, you will be able to find it. But from what I can gather, that your thigh muscle strength needed to be strengthened.
Excellent. And we have lots of people thanking you for the answers to all those questions in there as well, Martin.
Thank you very much.
Right then. So before you leave, everybody, if you'd like any more information on anything relating to arthritis, all the topics we've discussed today, please do visit our website, as Martin said. The address for that is www.arthritisaction.org.uk. We've got loads of resources and especially the movement snacks as well. So a video of this webinar will be made available within the next week or so. And so then you'll be able to go onto our YouTube channel also to, view that. And for all of those of you that have registered live, we will be sending a recording out via a link for all of you. And also, just as we finish today, as soon as we end this, for those of you watching live, a little survey is going to pop up onto your screen. So I'd really appreciate it if you could, take a minute or two, this is only very short, just to fill in with your thoughts on today's webinar and, what you liked, what you didn't like. The more we know, the more we can put into the future ones to make sure that they're as good as they can be for everyone. And finally, I want to say a big thank you to you, Martin, for giving us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. For answering all the questions. It was great, and the demonstration was wonderful as well. So, thank you very much, and a big thank you to everyone who joined us live today, or anyone watching in future as well. So, thank you very much, everybody. Bye bye now.
Bye bye.